Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised, and, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting. But also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
The Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Hi, it is me. Your hostess with the hottest coffee around, Laurie Calcaterra, writer-creator of Path of the Pale Rider, dressed up as Pikachu today. Because reasons. You'll have to wait and see why. I'm currently drinking the tears of my readers, yada, yada, yada. Hey, I'm super excited about what's going on in campaign. We're winding down here. 5 days to go. If you've been sleeping and you're like, oh, I need to do that, get it done because the holiday is coming and I know everybody's going to get busy. You'll forget. So get in here, pick your cover. We got a bunch of stretch goals that are already unlocked, so you get those. And I'm hoping we can break through to the slice and dice as well. If we do the one after that, great, we got more merch. But 100 backers broke the next the poker card reveal. Let me over stretch goals here real quick. So we have, of course, King Big James, King of Spades. And then we unlocked the 10 of spades. So as you can see, we're in the spades. We've already done a bunch of hearts. I have 2 other suits I have not revealed yet. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if we'll do it this time or not. Anyway, so those are both unlocked. We also unlocked, we'll go down this way, this guy, which is the 5500. We unlocked the 4x6 prints from Matt Chambers. It's a POTPR octopus, which is so cool. And I'm as we unlock more dollar stretch goals, I released more PDF bundles. So I have to update the Horror Friends bundle. I have another one that's Immortal Era that will also be released on that first group. And then we have 4 in the second group. And then I have another group and another group. So the more we unlock, the more things you get to read. But the slice and dice is next, everybody. So I'm really hoping we get that one done. I never know. Like the holiday kind of threw a loop in there, so we'll see how everything kind of shakes down. But our guest today is none other than Chad Perkins, and he's a friend of mine. If you go down to that Friends with Campaign section, Set the Hook is there. We're gonna bring him on. Chad has been it's been a long time coming, you know. I feel like he should have been on the show a lot sooner than he is, but it's good. We get to catch up. I get to learn his background because you know me, I want to know how you started in all this, right? So without further ado, let me bring in my friend Chad Perkins. Hello.
Hello. How's it going? All right, just 2 normal people wearing 2 normal things.
On a Tuesday for no apparent reason whatsoever.
No reason. Just hanging out like 2 bros.
Hanging out with the Pikachu and the Pokemons and yeah.
Slowpoke.
I mean, we did warn everybody and say that there would be shenanigans today, right?
There would be. Well, when you said on on Facebook, it's like, and talk about and wearing hats. I'm like, all right, let me grab my hat. And I grabbed my Slowpoke hat, and my own Slowpoke hat was like right there. And I'm like, yeah.
There we go.
And you're like, I'm doing Pikachu. I'm like, hell yeah.
Glenn, it is I, Laurie Chu.
Laurie, oh man.
Are you gonna get the memo?
Quick, everybody get your Pokemon hats. It's not too late.
Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
Not really, but
it's
Pokemon
funny.
Day on the Brew.
Yes.
And I'm not even smashing anything, so.
Right. And I'm not even drunk, and I'm wearing Slowpoke.
Good morning. Howdy Dooley? Is that a
Howdy
thing?
Doody, but I guess it's Dooley now. Doodly.
I was like, is it a thing though? It could be a thing.
It could be. Anything could be a thing if you want it to be. Remember that.
Anything could be a thing.
Howdy Doodly is from The Simpsons, the neighbor.
Oh.
Ned Flanders. Yeah, thank you.
Yep,
yeah.
There you go.
Howdy
Okay.
Doodly.
Just had to pop in and do my.
Freaking nerd! How dare you, you uncultured swine!
Pops in and pops back out.
Didn't.
How diddly do? That's it. How diddly do, neighbor?
Did you know there's a metal band based around Ned Flanders?
No.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yeah, they're called. How did he?
How did Doodly?
Hang on a second. Ned Flanders. Metal band. Oakley Dokley. Then they all dress like Ned Flanders.
I mean, weirder things have happened, right? Yeah, do it.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good too.
Where do they play?
all over. They opened recently for I think like
What
Cannibal
do they
Corpse
play?
or something. They play
They
metalcore.
play metal.
Yeah,
Do
they
they
play
sing
like
like Ned Flanders as they do the?
they sing like lyrics of about Ned Flanders. So like one's like White Wine Spitzer, and like they sing everything that's about Ned Flanders. So yeah, they've been around since like 2015. Wow. Oh, and they just they broke up in 2020. Okay, well,
Oh no!
yeah, that's so sad. I actually like them
sad.
a lot. But anyway, they were fun.
So, Chad,
Yes.
welcome to the Brew. I know
Thank
we've
you.
hung out a lot of times on other pods and everything,
We
but
have.
this time I get to actually just one-on-one ask you questions about you, which is so great because I love interacting with, the indie community, but it's like, I want to know your journey. So why don't you start at the beginning and tell us your origin story, how you got into comics, what made you pull the trigger and like start doing your own thing. Start at the very beginning.
So
Chad
my,
was born.
I was about to say, so my mom met my dad on on a military base.
For real?
And she said, yeah, my mom was a Marine. So, yeah, and she was stationed in Japan when she found
My
me.
mom was also a Marine.
Hell
bro.
yeah, pops.
Yeah. You get female Marine genes in you get both sides.
Yeah.
Beast, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a brat.
Yeah. I love my mom, man. She was tough as nails, though.
My mom will knock me through a wall. Hands down. Anyway, so I started back. Actually, I loved when I was younger. My mom bought me all the superhero toys. I mean, like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and of course, when you're young, you don't know that they go into different universes or anything. You just know that Major Chip Hazard goes with Batman today. Like that's what's going on. Because I had small soldiers figures too. But I always loved superheroes. In fact, to the point of where I thought that the JSA and the JLA were knockoffs of Batman and Superman when my mom got me the toys. Because I didn't know. Yeah, like I didn't know. I was like 6 years old, We didn't have like things telling us everything. Like, oh no, this character goes with this universe. This is a real character. So that was always fun. But it wasn't until 2011 I started reading comics. I walked into a comic book shop because I heard of a game called Hero Clicks, where it was just these teeny little figures where you fight with them, and they're like different superheroes. And now they got an elaborate, like Beetlejuice is one of them now, and Sandman.
What?
And Scooby Doo. Like, yeah. After I stopped playing, all the fun ones come out. Because I would love. I know. I'm like, man, I would love to beat up Batman with the Mystery Machine. Like, that'd be awesome. And I ended up playing semi professionally with them. But it wasn't until I started reading comics. Well, it wasn't until I walked in that shop I started browsing the comics, and I discovered, unfortunately, Brian Michael Bendis' Moon Knight.
Oh.
Yeah, which I thought was the greatest thing ever. And now that I'm wiser, I realize it is not the greatest thing ever. It's actually pretty
for someone who's never experienced superhero comics, like getting into the first thing you get into with a halfway decent story, you're just blown away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it kept me around to, continue reading and continue getting more into comics. However, then somehow I don't know how I got there. I started working at that comic shop.
That's okay.
I know. Like I became really good friends with the owners, and they're like, "Hey, we need a person part-time. Do you want to come in?" I'm like, "Sure." And on a rainy day, and this is where I had my epiphany about like, oh my God, comics can be anything. Because originally I thought it was all just superheroes.
Right.
And all like the Big Dog Ink stuff. Sorry, Tom. All the, Dynamite, all that stuff. I thought that was just, horrible because I never checked it out. Like I was always just this Marvel DC thing.
On my show.
Yeah, hang on, I'm getting to the point. Okay, this is when I was younger. I've grown. It wasn't until on a rainy day I picked up Chew from Image Comics, and that's Chew, and that's when I realized, oh shit, the independent market, like the more offshoot stuff, way different, way better, way just fucking turn off your brain, go. Like it could be anything you want. And that's when I fell in love with the whole comics market. And I still read my Marvel and DC, but now I'm more towards the independent genres because you
You
get
know,
everything.
that's interesting because my husband read Batman comics growing up. I never really got into the superhero reading
Mhm.
comics, and I didn't find comics until like Image was the thing already, and like, but I found the like disillusioned superheroes, like Who Watches the Watchmen, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, that's where I started. So immediately I was like, yes, let's give us a taste of reality in our fiction. You know what I mean? Like people are a-holes, and that's where I started. So
wow. That's
I mean,
heavy.
isn't that funny though? Because if you
Yeah.
look at your writing and you look at my writing, it makes sense.
Right. Like, I think it's funny that you say that the Watchmen kind of started you because that's a heavy
Yeah.
book. Like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but
yeah.
I loved it. I ate that thing. I read it like 3 times when I got it because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's probably one of my influences as well because I do the same thing. I have a lot of moving parts.
I can believe
But it's
that.
like the whole thing with like the newspaper stand and the black sails. Is it black sails? Black flag? The pirate story that
Yeah.
the kid was reading, you know, inside of the comic, which I thought was great. And then you have all like the secret, you know, storylines with the characters. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. So
See, I'll be honest with you. On the opposite of that, when I first read it, I fell asleep.
did you? You're
Yeah.
nah.
Nah, I thought it was good. Like, I thought the writing was good. Like, you can't knock the book. Is very in depth and great writing, but man, it's really hard to get through it.
It's dense, and I mean,
Yeah.
it hits some really thought-provoking topics. Like, you know, the one superhero that is truly a superhero lost his humanity in the process.
Yep.
You know, so it's like we have all these flawed superheroes that are human, and then you have one that is so far away from everything he doesn't even know what time he's in. He's in all times. You
Right.
know, it can't connect anymore. So I just thought that was such an interesting line, you know, where he's talking about our humanity. What makes
Yeah.
our imperfections is what makes us human. So I thought that was cool.
That
Anyway,
book
so
hit
yeah, that's
harder
why
and
I was
harder.
like, oh, it can make you think, right?
Make you cry.
Make you cry. It can
Shit.
make you spit out your coffee. It
Which
can gross you out. Like the whole Rorschach story. I was like, ooh.
I loved. The ending was fun when he exploded, though.
Yeah.
That-
Spoiler alert if you haven't read
Yeah,
that. It was
anyway,
good.
it's worth
You should
watching.
split a long time ago.
Because
But
it came out of nowhere. Like, you connected with Rorschach.
yeah, because he's just like he did what was right at
Yep.
the expense of himself.
Yeah.
And you know, it super violent because of his upbringing, just so traumatic. And then at the end, he was like, "No, I choose to do the right thing." And they were like, "Okay."
All right. Well, go
And
screw
then
yourself,
Rorschach
buddy.
painted the snow.
Good.
He
Good.
made his own Rorschach on the snow. That was that's what happened.
What can you see? I can see your dead body.
It's a butterfly.
It's your butterfly.
Nope, that's your rib cage.
Oh. Oh. I'm actually more impressed it turned into a butterfly. Like, but
You did that on purpose.
but so that's when I started getting more into it. And fun story, Tom Big Dog Inc.'s Critter was the first trade paperback I ever bought.
That's funny.
Yeah, from a comic book convention. I thought originally I bought it from the Big Dog Inc. booth at Motor City Comic Con, but they just went there this year, or was it last year, for the first time.
So someone else.
So I
his
think
book maybe at a stall. You know
Well,
how
I think it was like
comic book stores go there. They bring their haul.
Yeah, but I think it was like it might have been the artist or somebody who worked on it, because this was like an artist alley.
Gotcha.
And I bought the first trade, and I mean, it's been a while since I read it, but I really enjoyed that. And then it wasn't until about 2016 I said, you know what, I want to write my own comic, and that's when I wrote Blue Lullaby, my first comic.
Cool.
Through Marcosia Enterprises. Well, Action Lab Comics, and then the lawsuit happened, and then now it's through Marcosia.
What happened?
Good Lord, does everybody live under a rock? Okay, anyway. So
I hear about it. We've never talked about it.
we didn't?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. So the what happened is that you can look it up, the class action lawsuit filed against Action Lab Comics. a bunch of us creators were fighting to get our rights back because they were taking money and like all this other stuff. So they were pretty much they were an IP farm.
Oh.
So yeah, it was pretty. I know the legal document is floating around somewhere, and actually the suit's still going on.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been like 4 years, I think. Good Lord, has it been that long? But time after the pandemic, like time just squished, and I just don't.
We've talked about this on the show before, where it's like there was so many current events, historical events that happened in such a short period of time. That time like lost meaning, and it's hard to put things in perspective after going through that.
Yep. I would just say bring back the murder hornets. I thought that was the most
Please
fun.
don't.
Yeah. I think that was look, when the pandemic hit, I was super disappointed because there was no zombies, no giant insects, no nothing. And then murder hornets came by and I was like, okay, close enough. Like, all right, I'll take that at least during the pandemic.
Funny enough, we're gonna have some interesting insect activity coming in my story soon.
Oh, good. Is it going to be like Island of the Giant Insects?
I'm not telling.
Okay, because don't watch that or read it.
Well, you know what's funny? I was talking with Gilbert, and we were looking for some references that he could draw, and we were just looking up like B movies that were free on like Tubi and stuff. And I was like, oh no, don't watch. I was like, maybe this one. I was like, no, don't watch that one. It is terrible. It was like bugs coming out of people's mouths for some reason. Like, what is going on here? I was like, it's called like the Swarm 4 or something.
Swarm, yeah.
Deadly Swarm.
Probably, yeah. I'm not 100% sure. There's so many bug movies on Tubi. Like, listen, I just watched Silent Hill Revelations, and I need to replace that movie. I know.
We were talking about this last night too. It was like, but why? Why did they do this? And essentially, they had a Pokemon battle at the end.
They did, yeah. Which it came full circle. They did.
That's a good bug movie.
Yeah, but Island of the Giant Insects is one of the lowest rated anime movie OVAs on Crunchyroll, and it's essentially it's bug porn.
Ew.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of actually sitting in.
Immediately turn it off.
Oh, I did. Look, I have a line, okay? Like, I have a line. And when it involves girls and bugs, I'm kind of not there. So, but I had the opportunity, quote unquote, to sit in on a Crunchyroll reveal party. So it was the officials at Crunchyroll, and that was one of the trailers that they showed. And I was like,
what are we doing here, guys?
Right. I'm like, are they guys out of, and then nothing. Like they like pushed that under the rug. They never brought it up after it got released.
Anyway.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the short version of my origin story. And then I just started and then about after the whole Marcosia thing and getting picked up, I decided to team up with Blake Matthias after a game of chicken at a furry convention to write The Adventures of The Legend of Sparkle Dog. What? Yeah, I know there's a gap there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was helping a former friend of mine sell his artwork at a furry convention because I mean, hey, I got in for free. It was fun. Look,
you're like, I'm just here to look at all the costumes. Like, what were you?
I mean, I was helping him sell artwork and looking at the costumes. Look, these people put in so much work.
It's like cosplay, but just furry costumes,
just furry.
Tons of money, thousands of dollars.
It is, and I know people are like, well, don't they have sex in them? No, that's like having sex in a furnace. Like, are you dumb? Like, no, they take those off like normal people. They're weird. They're weird outside of the bedroom. Not it. Well, never mind. There probably are as well.
I was like, I don't know if you can
never mind.
Confidently.
But him and I, Blake and I were having a drink, because he was the other buddy that was helping him sell the artwork, and we were sitting having a drink at the bar, and I'm like, hey, do you think that like when the furries like put on the fursuit, they become somebody else. Like the real person is their fursuit, and when they take it off, they become the fake.
Yeah.
And he's like, Chad, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm way too drunk to talk to you. So, and then the next day, we started talking about it a little bit more. I'm like, what if it was like a fursuit was controlling people? And then as we went on with this conversation, like a week later, I wrote one of the pages for the script, and then he drew one of the pages, and we kept going until it became a Kickstarter, and the first issue was released.
That's Sparkle Dog?
Yeah, that was Sparkle Dog. And the second issue is in development currently. Blake had a baby this year, so it's been kind of a mess, and we actually just hired on a new colorist. So she decided to take it over. Yeah, so hopefully it should be out this year. If not, it'll be early next year.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's my great origin story from knockoff superheroes like Impulse and Martian Manhunter.
But I have more questions. So
yeah, go on.
Did you ever like enjoy writing in school, or like what prompted the whole writing portion?
Oh yeah, God yeah, I loved writing. I should probably Oh yeah, I loved one of the first books that I ever wrote was in 6th grade called the Attack of the Beast Monsters and Zombies. And it was just it was just a stupid book.
That could still be a thing, man.
It could be. I mean, I wish I would have still had it. But I loved writing that. It was like I think I wrote like 20 pages, and it was for like this contest in school where it could be put in the library, our school library.
Really?
Yeah, and unfortunately I lost, but which is sad because mine was the best, clearly.
I'm sure. There's zombies in it, therefore.
Yeah. And I've always been really into reading as well. So I would read just throughout high school. Any novel that anybody would hand me, I would read. I would go to the bookstore once a week, grab some books. I was a part of the sci-fi class at my high school, which for some reason they had a sci-fi class. And I took
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We just sat and reread books the entire time. Yeah.
The good books, like how many times I gotta read Catcher in the Rye?
Right. Oh my God. Yes. And we could read whatever, like as long as it was like, because she even said too, look, if you don't like sci-fi, you can read something else too. Like, I'm not going to ding you.
Wow.
Like,
she was like, please come in and read books.
Right. Exactly. And then we had to write like a little paragraph of what we thought about it, turn it in, and we were done. It was great. And we could just read the same book each class. So it's not like we had to switch books every day or something. But that one was cool. But yeah, with writing, yeah, it wasn't until I started writing Blue Lullaby I really fell in love with actually writing on a serious note. Because sometimes I would write stupid poetry on DeviantArt. Sometimes I would do a lot of D&D characters, like write their backstories. So I did a lot of that, but it wasn't until 2016 with Blue Lullaby that I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually do my own comic. And then I did.
That's interesting, isn't it? How it's just, something clicks.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I want to do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Were you a part of the indie community at that point? Like, how did you decide, hey, I'm going to make a comic book and then learn? Because there's obviously a steep learning curve when it comes to creating comics.
Yeah. So man, you are digging up all of my origin story. Good Lord.
That's what my job is here, people. Yeah, that's my job.
I know. So I actually was a part of the indie comics community as an interviewer for slackjawpunks.com, which was a local horror website here in Michigan.
Cool.
And I used to do comic book reviews for them. And I used to interview people on a show called Comics Are Cool. So I would interview different indie creators, Marvel creators, DC creators. And it's the fun thing is people are like, well, how do I get started with podcasting and interviewing these people? They are really, really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like they will.
That's how the indie community is too. We're always working on something, and it's like we just need a platform to tell the people what we're working on so they can find us.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the same thing. It's like all comic people are like, hey, check out this thing I'm doing.
Yep. And then, hey, you want to interview me for my new project? Yes, absolutely. And a lot of these people, like a lot of these creators have their emails floating around out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are very easy to get in contact with. And so with Facebook, you can just add all of them and then contact them. And that's great. And then they'll be like, leave me alone. But it wasn't. So I did that for a good, from about 2012 to 2015, I did that for a while. And then I stopped because Bub ended up, which was the creator of the website, kind of said, all right, I'm not going to do this too much anymore. But I continued with the Comics Are Cool podcast. Like I still continued
Yeah.
it, but on a separate platform.
Gotcha.
And then after that, I started Shots with Comics because I retired to Comics Are Cool, and I did Shots with Comics where we reviewed books. But every time we reviewed a book, we took a shot, and we all had 3 books lined up, and we got more and more drunk. And the worst book was when we were the most drunk.
What?
And I got because it made it funnier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to somebody about the book Clone while you're drunk? It's the funniest thing in the world. Like that book is hysterically bad. When you're drunk, it's hysterical.
Okay.
Yeah. And go look up Clone. It's if
I will
you want a guy who
Clone.
yeah, if you want a book where he says, "Oh, I never heard of Orphan Black," he's full of shit because it's just Orphan Black.
Just straight up stealing ideas.
Oh, he did it to get it. Never mind. We're not getting into that history.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't get into that. So I started that, and then, like I said, it was about in 2016 where I said, "Okay, I think I understand now. I want to write a comic." So I started reading like Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics, and I started researching. Like I started looking at Alan Moore, and that's a great book, by the way. It's Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. Talks to you like you're stupid, and it's smart.
But that's what you need when you're first starting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You honestly do.
Yeah. And the fun thing is too, is that, and as I got more and more into it, I started looking at like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore scripts and Neil Gaiman's, and I was like, oh God, I don't want to write like this. This looks like hell. And then I found John Layman, his scripting, and more of like, why can't I remember his freaking name? Kevin Smith's, where they were like a little bit more simpler. So I realized then that kind of writing your comic script, you can pretty much do it how you want it. Mm-hmm. As long as with the artist, it comes along clear with the artist, you can pretty much write how you want to write.
So you write your script in comic book format, so page 1, panel 1, panel 2, etc.
Yes, I do. And then, however, C. Lanning very recently said, Chad, you don't need to do this. And then I actually started writing it like page with the description of like what's going on and the dialogue. And
so he panels.
He does not panel. Because he was the one who told me don't panel.
So he's not going through and reading your script and then wait, no, he's not the interior artist. He's the cover artist.
He panels. He panels.
Yeah. Because that's what Marco used to do for me as well, because my script is a screenplay. And I never converted it. So Marco would be like, here's kind of what I see, how the page, because we would break it down by like, this is, and I wouldn't even tell him by page. I would be like, you get 4 pages to do this. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, that's when he recently told me, hey, you could do it like this.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to write it panel by panel. And good Lord, that has been way easier. Because
well, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing because it depends. Well, again, I think it depends on your artist.
Sure.
And I think it's the relationship based because I have worked with artists where they want everything. They want everything. And sometimes I'll be even so specific to tell them what camera angle needs to be there.
Yeah.
And then on the other extreme, there's Marco, where I was just like, you have 4 pages to do the riot scene.
Go. And he's like, okay.
And cool. He's like, all right.
Hell yeah.
The screenplay is great because it's so descriptive. You can usually see it play out in your head.
Right.
So that I think there's a great flow to it. So if your artist can do that. And then Gilbert's kind of in between, where I do the comic book script, but it's very screenplay-y. Like this is the camera angle, but we're gonna play with this. And then sometimes I'll be like, I need your input on how to make this more dynamic. Stuff like that. So it's interesting. Yeah, because it's like depending on who you're working with, it can change.
Absolutely. And that's why, because C. Lanning is actually the one who did the cover art, and Tim Spavero, Tim Spavero is the one who does the interior.
Right.
And he's actually already familiar with my writing style previously, because Set the Hook is written in paneling, like it is page 1, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, description, camera angle, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
and he's already familiar with it because his wife worked on Blue Lullaby as the artist.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so he already knew how I worked and everything. But I realized that I don't need to do that on some of my projects going forward. So I was like, oh, cool. I got to remember that you can kind of write your script how you want. But at the same time, though, yes, it is depending on the artist.
Because I've done it a little looser, and then like I've gotten art back, and it'd be like, nope, that's not what I meant. Like,
yep.
You go type in more information.
What do you mean? Well, he's wearing a hat. Did you not read that?
I was like, I'm pretty specific about his description. Did you read it? No.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, my fault. Let me give you more information.
Right. And what's kind of nice too is that when I meet the artist that I'm working with right now, Tim, on it, he really does. When he says, "Hey, Chad, can I add this?" He loves the fact that I'm just like, yeah, just do it. Like if you feel like, and I feel like the artist kind of appreciates that. And when I tell them, be as creative as possible. Like if you think that this page needs to look completely different, let me know. We'll talk it through. We'll see if it works, and then we'll go for it. Or if it doesn't work, we'll try to kind of collaborate on it. That's how. Yeah, actually, it was Wells that told me to make it weirder. So, and then Tim also started making it weirder. So he's like, "Do you want me to make it weird?" I'm like, "Absolutely, always."
I don't know what you mean. Make it weird. This is murdered by a fish. So I mean, yeah, I guess it would classify as weird. For anybody who's not familiar with Set the Hook, do you want to give them a quick elevator pitch, and then we'll dig in? I want to show off the goods here, so to speak.
Sure. So it follows the story of Otis Jesse Bayert, and if you can't pronounce that name, that's okay because that's the point. You're not supposed to. It's actually a pun off of Odyssey. So if you actually say it fast enough, but well, not the Bayard part. That's just the last name, but not that part. But the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Odyssey.
Right.
But it follows the story of him where his father was murdered by a fish when he was younger, and he will stop at nothing to find the demonic fish that murdered his father. It's a detective supernatural. It's a supernatural noir comic that is just high action, strangeness to it. It's because it's about the world itself is hell. Hell's Aquarium has come up to Earth, and so there's all these fish monsters and fish people.
Fish have morals? I don't know.
Some do. I mean, there are
Really?
there are some, like, actually, when you look at the first page, you do see a couple of that are being like busted for crimes. Like here's Otis, he lives in his junk tank, but like you see this fish person right here being held by a cop. So there are, throughout the story, it is just overrun with fish, and they've like incorporated themselves into our society. And that was actually not the original story. Wells gave me that idea. It was like, hey, why don't you just make it overrun by fish? And I'm like, okay. But this is Otis Jesse Barrett. He is 24 years old in his 40s. He is a mixture of Robert Pattinson and Christopher Maloney, specifically Christopher Maloney from Happy and Robert Pattinson from The Lighthouse. So he is highly obsessed with fish, and he's also just batshit insane. He will do anything he can. He'll punch cops. He will sacrifice sixth graders in order to get children, lure out his prey. So he will do anything in order to get the job done.
I was laughing at that part, really.
The 12th.
He was like, I need some bacon. They were like, kids though? He was like, whatever.
Whatever. Look, it's
He's like, look,
fit.
did it work? Kidnap sixth graders. Well, they weren't going to volunteer. Besides, saltwater fish are really picky eaters.
Like he just doesn't care. Like, listen.
No. He's like, I needed something very specific to get this a-hole out of the water, and that was it. So it worked.
And it worked. And then he's like, okay. Yeah.
It's just funny.
Yeah, so the first issue sets up him as what he does as his job, which he is a fisherman, which his primary job is to hunt demonic fish creatures. So this is his job, is where he goes in and they give him kind of like the worst of the worst jobs. Like here, this first one is a woman was gutted on Fighting Island,
Yeah.
which is just an island off of Michigan because it's actually set in Michigan. It's off the Detroit River. And he's like, oh, well, this is shit. This isn't what I am. And it's like, well, be better and go, just take this, leave. So that's what this one sets out, is setting up pretty much. This one sets what it's about.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
because it's the
and
first
it
issue.
should be. We need to know how the world works. We need to
Mhm.
understand the protagonist, what motivates him, what he's willing to do in order to win.
Get it through.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I will say, and it does show him in the next issue gets weirder. And when I say gets weirder, I want to make it clear when I'm saying this is that when the story was originally being compiled, it came to me when I was at work and I was thinking about fishing. And for whatever reason, I just go, God, it's so nice out. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to hang out. What happens if a fish murders somebody's dad? And then I'm going to go catch them and I'm going to take them home. And then what if it's like a revenge story? I have an idea.
And
then
sometimes that's how quick it goes.
It
That's
is.
it.
It
That's
is.
how it takes. Yep.
And also too, like sometimes your dumbest ideas can be your best ideas.
Right.
Which so I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this down. But originally, Otis was a part of like a secret society that hunted these demonic creatures, and the police department was like aware of it, and they gave them these tasks. But it wasn't until Wells, my editor, said, it would just be better if you scrapped the whole Secret Service thing and just flooded the world with fish creatures and made like this their world. And that's what I ended up doing. I'm like, oh, this reads so much better. He's just a really shitty detective that's never solved the case, and he gets shit work, and he just will do anything it takes and just make him this absolute garbage person. So yeah, because
garbage
originally,
person who could possibly save the day. Garbage person might be what we need.
It's
you know
true.
what I mean? In the end, in order to solve the case, because they're willing to do things that others won't.
Exactly. He's like the Punisher, which is why I like the Punisher, because he's willing to do things.
He's like the Punisher.
He does, yes.
Punishes the fish.
He does punish the fish. Actually, it's funny. And I have to post it soon. Aaron Dowen wrote a 2-page fanfic at the fish's perspective. Yeah,
yes!
And it's
fish?
The fish, that fish, yes, the killer walleye.
Yes.
And it's funny because he made him like you feel bad for the fish because it never actually you don't if you read this, but if you've read the fanfic before you read this,
you're like
you
poor fish.
like, oh, he didn't deserve it. Well, no, because the fanfic doesn't actually mention what he did, and it makes it seem like the fish didn't know it did anything wrong because it never pays.
Fish memories, right?
Yes. Also, I guess his name is Gut Slicer, which he didn't have a name, or Glurp, which is now his name. Yeah, because that's what it sounds like underwater. Is Glurp. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah.
I picked this cover. The C. Michael Lanning cover. It's beautiful. Pops. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Corissa got the Daphne cover. Hold on, I'm going to go real quick to this one.
Yes, which is the best.
It's so cool. Like it's in a martini glass.
Yeah. So Daphne. First of all, I think everybody did great with their comic book covers.
Right.
Like I thought everybody did a great job. But Daphne, she's like, Chad, Viva Las Vegas, and I'm like, okay, do not go any further. Just do it. And come back to me. And then originally the neon shrimp was going to be covered, but then Aaron and I were talking about it when he was designing the logo. I'm like, we need to bring it down and show the whole artwork. And that's why these logos are a lot smaller, because I want people to see the artwork that these artists, the time and effort they put into it.
That's so hard though when they don't leave you room to put your logo. Corissa and I talk about this all the time because Corissa always gets 4,000 covers. And I dress them, and so I get them, and I'm like, I can't Trust this one. Like,
Right, and
this
that
one, I'm like, the shrimp. You don't want to cover the shrimp.
no, you want to make
No.
sure that you can see the fish all happy in the glass.
Right.
Vic
This one-
Medina.
This one's Victor Medina.
Yep,
So hot right now.
he is. It's the into the jaws of hell. Which
Ooh.
I love this one. I wish they might, and I know I'm going to be a critique on it, and maybe after I saw it, where they're both standing on this hook here,
Yeah.
and that's really cool.
It's hard to see though. I didn't realize it was a hook until you just said so.
Yeah, and I didn't now since I'm looking at it now when we're talking about it, I'm like, oh man, I loved the teeth so much and like the drool and the just the action, the I guess terror of it that I was like, oh, but the hook is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
I mean, you could definitely do that again. Even maybe like a sticker or something where there's just the two of them on a
oh,
hook.
that would be good.
His
Maybe I
name.
can get him to send me a PDF of that or like a
Yeah.
little thing of that.
Dear Victor Medina.
Oh,
This one.
this is Dear Victor, it's me, your friend, Chad. So,
like
with like love, your friend, Chad, with love. P.S. I love you. But
He'll be like, no.
no, he'd be like,
Just kidding. He wouldn't.
no, he'd be like, well, he'll like send it to me and then block me and be like, nope, not,
Never
not
talk
you.
to me again.
Never talk to me again. But I have money for you.
Be like, I'll pay
Um,
you.
this is Jason Doobie. He's a good buddy of mine. He was actually the first cover that I approached because I love his punk anime style, like punk manga style he does. And he also does boobies really well. So that's so I call this one the booby comic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
this
right
is
after set the hook and there's like nipple.
nipple. There you go. And actually, that was the joke when Aaron and I were putting it together. I'm like, no, put it right next to the nipple, like right there.
Like
So
it's
that
the period at the end.
yes, like, there you go. But I really love this cover. He was the first one I reached out to. He
Yeah.
did a commission for me, or on his show that he does every Monday, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I requested him to draw a Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece,
Yes.
and he ended up doing it. I'm like, damn, this is really good. So then I reached out to him, and he's actually going to be working on a spin-off comic with me too, and it's set in the Set the Hook world as well. So I do
Nice.
have him on board with it because he told me, he's like, I want to do a story from this. I'm like, great, because boy, do I have a story for you. But I love this one. I think it's colorful, and I love it.
Yes. And
So.
I'm kind of jealous of that hammer. You know, me and my
Right.
sledgehammer.
Mhm.
I'm just like, I really kind of.
Yeah, Ginger's hammer is amazing. It also shoots fire.
It shoots fire.
Yeah, so the pack on her back is actually it's attached. There's a hose attached to the bottom of the hammer, and when she like presses down on the grip, it shoots flames. That's why I call it the squish and roast, because
Oh,
you
I
can bash
cannot
things.
wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In issue 2 or in issue 3, you get to see her use it. And
You know, it was really windy that day. I doused it in accelerant, and my regular torch, my torch actually broke. All I had was a stupid lighter, and I couldn't light this pineapple on fire before I squished it. I tried.
Should
I tried for like 20 minutes, and like the Texas wind was just like, and it would blow it out every time.
Bro, you can't light this on fire.
It wouldn't let me. It must have been my guardian angel who was like, "Do you know you're wearing a suit of flammable whatever the suit is made out of in China, made in China, right? You're probably going to light yourself on fire and have to jump in the pool." So it would not light on fire.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of jumping into the pool, though.
I mean, that would have been fine. It's just that
that's being on fire part would
being on fire.
Yeah, that would be
probably
the
having to go
problem.
to the hospital with some degree of burnage, on my body would be bad.
And in a Pikachu hoodie, no doubt too.
Yeah.
But
They would probably ask questions.
why do you smell like pineapple? Well, I was trying to destroy a pineapple.
Right. Oh, it's just this thing for social media, and they'd be like, "Oh, say no more."
Okay, never mind. You know, we're gonna move you to the psych ward, and they just
Yeah,
like
that's
put you.
nice. They're like, we're just wheeling
Uh,
down there. Here's this nice jacket. You know, it just crosses your arms for you. No big deal.
no,
Um,
you didn't. And if the men in white come, say yes. But this is Tim Spavero's cover. Originally,
nice.
this was the main cover, and then I upgraded C's cover to the main because, I mean, look at C's. Not that Tim's isn't good, because this was the original. And I actually picked this as like a classic, you know, nice calming weather, sitting in a fishing boat and
Yeah.
just waiting for something to bite. So that's why it's calm before the storm. And
Yeah.
then people were like, "This is kind of too boring," and I was like, "Oh, well, I like
Okay,
it."
lame.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, well, that was kind of the point, but never mind." Like, I
Right.
wanted it to be the calm before the storm, so then when you open, you're like, "Oh, there's an exploding fish."
Yeah.
Like, and there's an octopus perfume salesman, which we'll get into that later.
I love him.
I know everybody loves
His hat, his little like cha-cha hat.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody loves him, and he's just a like Big James, just a throwaway character.
Yeah,
And
it's like, what are we doing? Well, Big James has like a purpose, but people have latched. Yes, exactly. People have latched on to Big James, where he's like becoming his own thing.
Yeah, you know what? We should do a crossover.
Do a spin-off with Cha-Cha the octopus.
You know, I've thought about that with one of the other characters, which I will show off them in a moment, which I was really kind of interested. I thought that one would be more of the mascot, but it didn't. But I'm okay with the octopus. I'm cool with it because I love him.
Cha-Cha, if you're okay with that.
He is. Yeah.
Does he have a name?
No.
Cha-Cha it is.
But I think Cha-Cha might have to be it now. Originally, he didn't even have an origin story.
Right, no, but you did that too. So yeah, see, it's all coming around.
All right, his name is.
He's gonna take off.
Name is Cha-Cha.
This reminds me a lot of Michigan. This is what Michigan like lakes. They have like a little tiny island, and then the woods are. You know, this very much reminds me of Michigan.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's set in Michigan.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I tried to really figure out, like, in the second issue, we have Mackinac Island.
Nice.
Yeah. And I put in the Mackinac Bridge, and it's all run down and destroyed. And then they go to Mackinac Island, and it's like been turned into a aquatic strip club. And there's all kinds of. Oh, yeah. Ginger listen, you find out how much of a freak Ginger, his partner, is.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's great. She's like, don't knock it till you try it. And he's like,
no!
I don't want to.
No, Ginger!
No.
Don't do it.
No, but
it's a weird place though already. Like, there's a lot of history there.
There's a lot of tentacles. Let me just tell you that.
I mean in real life, how there's history, because it used to be a fort, and there's like there was war spot there. That's like it's haunted.
Oh God, yeah, 100% it is. You can't go. You can't walk around at night without probably seeing a ghost.
That's correct. Yeah,
or a very white person. But you know,
yeah. My brother and my sister-in-law had their honeymoon there. They were taking a horse-drawn carriage back to their like Airbnb, and they're just asking the driver questions, and he was like, "Well, just make sure that you're not out too late, after dark." And they're like, "Excuse me?" It just started telling them all these scary stories that freaked him out.
Hell yeah! See, I would have totally enjoyed that ride.
Yeah,
I've been like, yeah.
It's like now you can write that into your Mackinac, like
right.
Strippers, and then you got the ghosts. Say
you got the ghost strippers too. Weird. But actually, fun thing. Did you see? I mean, no, this is totally irrelevant to this, but
that's okay. We like shiny things.
Oh well, they just sold the Mackinac ferries to a Florida company.
What?
Yeah.
Now
so,
what?
I don't know exactly what it means, because I don't think they ever announced what it is, but they sold the company to somebody in Florida. So I'm like, so does this mean like everything's going to be charged? Do we get speedboats? Like, is there going to be another? So it's weird, but
yeah.
Anyway, so
the boats to Mackinac are like a serious thing for because there's only a couple ferries that will take you over, and there's no cars.
There's no cars. There's no bridges. There's just
scooters. No nothing. You have to get ferried onto the islands, right?
Absolutely. It's still worth it though. Like if you ever get a chance to go,
if you get a chance to go to Mackinac, go.
Yeah. No, it's very pretty.
Especially when do all the flowers bloom? June, July.
I think it's July. Actually, I think they're in bloom right now,
Are
and
they?
then it'll go through the end of August. But it's also apparently, and I haven't been there, but it's really pretty in the fall
Yes.
too,
And
because you
I'm
got all
sure
the
they
trees
have
changing color.
spring flowers, and then they have summer, and then they
I'm
have
sure
fall. Like they rotate them through. They take it very seriously. It's beautiful there. It's
they
gorgeous.
sure
Just,
do. But
just
yeah,
don't,
anyway.
just don't stay out after dark.
No,
Anyway.
don't, because then you'll get attacked by a giant stripper eel. Anyway,
A ghost eel.
a ghost eel.
With a thong.
Writing that down, ghost eel.
Ghost eel with a thong. How do you
With
put a
a
thong on an eel?
Carefully. I will show you. But
I look
so
forward to that.
this is one of the new tiers that just dropped. Tim
Cool.
Spavero did some ballpoint pen sketches of Otis and Ginger. The two up at the top are actually on the front and the back.
Okay.
So when you actually get these, whether you want it or not, and then this one is of Otis. So, and they're originals. So I'm very excited that he decided to go out of his way to do these. We were on a stream with Aaron and Jessica for Catalyst Comics, and we ended up. I was like, "Hey, let's use these as a tier," and he agreed.
Where? There they are.
It's right here.
Where?
Yeah, it's the $70 tier.
Yeah, there's only one.
There is only one, yes. So once it's gone because they're originals and he's not doing anymore. I might do some prints of them, but and then yeah, we have a not safe for work topless Ginger and a sketch of Otis as well. These are both original inked characters. This is the $150 tier. Yeah, where you get both of these.
So Cha-Cha will not be there.
You know, I might send just for fun. I might print one and then send it to them with Cha-Cha over it. So because it is very entertaining to look at.
It is.
But yeah, it's. I was actually more surprised he drew topless Ginger because I was like, oh, okay, well,
you're like,
fine.
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So listen, I was like, he sent it to me. I'm like, all right, well, I'm keeping this for later, I guess.
Not sure what I'm doing with this, but hey, we'll find a spot for it.
These are add-ons.
Hooked rib cage. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. So this is from Blake Matthias, who did the art for Sparkle Dog, and he also does another book, free webcomic called Tuck and Roll, which you can actually find at tuckandroll.com.
That's what I tell my kids when I drop them off at school.
Tuck and Roll, you just drive by real fast to get the jokes. Yep. That's what I was shocked that the comic's not about, is just dropping kids off at school and, injuring them severely. But this was supposed to be one of the variant covers, but it didn't really fit with the theme. So last time in the Sparkle Dog campaign, we did phone wallpaper, which was like a candy gore wallpaper, and that actually went over really well. So I included this as another wallpaper or cell phone wallpaper, which is Android and iOS, so it'll be both.
Okay.
So not that there's really that big of a difference, but whatever. Gotta request that, I guess.
This dog's name is Little Shit.
His name is Little Shit. So if you will, Little Shit is right here. So this is Little Shit. I know. He's so cute. This is Newt, my little chihuahua. I know I just pulled him up from his nap, but he's gonna go right back to sleep.
What?
He's been sleeping all day. Don't let it fool you. Good Lord. But Little Shit is a character that is just a chihuahua in a salmon costume. He is one of the fishermen. Nobody knows who his owner is, but he always challenges things that are bigger than him. He has just like a chihuahua. He has little gun, and they're not in this little drawing, but he has little harpoons on the side of him where he can fire them and hook onto the person or whatever he's hunting, and then pull himself into it and get up in your face. So yeah, he was a character that I made from a previous comic, because fun fact about me, I always try to save the characters that I make. So if I don't use them for another story, I create them and then use them later.
That's smart.
Yeah. So Little Shit was one which was about a dog traveling through a post-apocalyptic world. And I ended up not doing that comic. but I was like, oh, you know what? I need to add something. I need to add another character to set the hook. And then I was looking through my library. I was like, well, what about little shit?
Yeah.
Like, can I do that? So Jared
No
Lockhart.
salmon costume on him. Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was like a random like comment from Blake at one point. He was like, yeah, I really like this because we were having a conversation about him. I'm like, yeah, and he's wearing a salmon costume. And he's like, yeah, no, do that.
Why?
And
Because
he also has a lobster cage helmet too, which you don't see it in this picture, but he'll put on like a little lobster cage where he could trap smaller prey into his in his head. It's really fun. He's great. Like he's probably the most unbelievable character, but he's a lot of fun. And he's just
it's
a
just
dog.
so fun because it's just like it's just be funny if little shit just shows up with these giant fish that he's caught, and you're like, how do you even like?
Yes.
Who's your owner? Like nobody has any clue how he does it. He just shows
Nope.
up dragging these giant dead fish, and it's like, okay,
Yep. He works in mysterious ways.
yeah.
So
Randomly solve the case.
Yep.
He's a dog.
Yep. As a dog. And then we have Cha-Cha. Just the sticker.
Cha-cha.
But that's the sticker. Fun story about him. Tim Spavero and I were talking about him when he was drawing the pages. I'm like, I like that octopus with the weird hat. And he's like, oh yeah, what? Like, I wanted to go wild with it and just put weird things in it. Because in the bar scene, you'll see like actual crabs, and then you'll see like fish people, and then you have this big octopus thing, like just right in the middle of the bar drinking. And I'm like, what is his backstory?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a perfume. What if he's a perfume salesman? And then he's like down on his
really
luck.
efficient because he has 8 arms.
Yes. So, but he ended up becoming really popular because then when he was designing this, he wanted to do a sticker. He's like, hey, tell me more about this fish, this octopus. I'm like, God damn it. All right. So he's a perfume salesman.
Just totally off the top of your head, you came up with this random backstory.
Yes, and he's down on his luck, and now he's going to appear throughout, like Big James. He's going to appear throughout each issue. Like he's going to be in the strip club trying to sell the strippers the perfume. Like he's going to be doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, and then obviously we have the mini prints. But yeah, Cha-Cha, I'm kind of shocked because you see, I'm just going to go with Cha-Cha now.
I like it.
He's not. He's also. I gotta make him Mexican now too. Like
that says it all.
Yeah, like he's gonna be like, "Hey, Taco Bell." Anyway, I don't know. Look, I'm not gonna try to do a Mexican accent and speak Mexican or Spanish because I can't.
Wow.
Like so I'm just gonna read off the Taco Bell menu, okay? Because I'm fluent in that. But then you can also get Blue Lullaby, which is my first book, which is the full trade paperback of all 4 issues, and then Sparkle Dog issue 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are the add-ons, yeah.
Yeah, those are the add-ons. And recently, I did and then everybody gets, which I didn't add to the add-ons, everybody gets the Slash Adventures from Knox the Fox bookmark, when all physical backers, and this is the Eldritch Horror bookmark. And damn, it's cool.
I was like, it looks like the Earth is a creature and it's going to eat us.
Yes, it's Otis hunting this Cthulhian nightmare underwater that might destroy the world. And then there's Sparkle Dog in the corner down below.
There he is, right down here.
Yep, right down there, which I didn't know. And then this is the team.
There's you.
Yep. There's me trying to sell the book to fish. There's Tim.
So, are you interested in stripper fish?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is that these fish just did not. They were not impressed with the story. They thought it was culturally insensitive. They're like, this isn't cool. Aaron Dowan did the lettering, and then Wells Thompson did the editing for it.
Nice.
Wells has been awesome with doing editing for the book. He told me, make it weird. I made it weirder. He gives me like a full breakdown of the story. And he goes in depth. Like he'll sit down and talk with you. He'll set up meetings with you. Like he'll just dive right in. And I'm like, oh, he's He's being professional about it. He's also a huge goofball, so do not let that fool you. Like
I've had Wells on the show quite a few times. And
You have,
so
yeah.
at first he was like very professional, like from his picture too, where it looks like the author bio picture inside of the dust jacket.
Yep.
And then when you start talking to him and he starts goofing off, you're like, oh, you're just a big weirdo like we are. So
Yep. You're just weird. So that's what I love about the comics community, is that all of us can start off very professional, and then after a while we're all like, okay, never mind.
No, I'm just a big nerd. Yeah.
Like here's my true face.
Right. It's the
Right,
furry
right.
face, not the one thing.
But Aaron Dowen, who's the CEO of Catalyst Comics, he did the lettering as well. Ended up picking up the book. I'm one of the first submissions that was accepted because they did open up submissions, and then I took over social media for them as well. So that's
They
going
are
to
a
be
really
fun.
good team. I've had both Aaron and Jess on the show before, and they do incredible work, and they're very passionate, and they love good stories.
Oh,
And
they do.
So I would 100% see how you would fit right in with that team.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, no, they became really fast friends with me, and
Yeah.
they're very open to talking with creators. And that's one
Yes.
of the things I really like about them as just a publisher, but also as friends. So also I did want to point out I did drop another tier as well the other day, and I know
Yeah,
we
we were
talked about it
talking about
yesterday.
this, and I want to wait. Hold on. You gotta go find it. Do. You guys, we can go shopping because look at all this great stuff.
Yep.
All the covers. This
I have
one,
a
D&D with Michael Towson.
Yeah,
Let's
so
talk about it, man.
yeah, so this one was really cool. DM Ray Jameson, who did Madcaps, did this for one of his tiers, for his first campaign, Madcaps, where you got to play a one-shot D&D session with a professional DM, and I thought that was really cool. I ended up backing it, and then we just got done with it on. Was it on Thursday we did it? Last Thursday? Was that the 27th? Yeah, on Thursday the 27th. And it was like I love D&D,
Yeah.
but I do not have time to play, but it was so nice to just play with a bunch of people, and you got to play as our characters. So I played as Otis, the drunk, who was a ranger, like city guard. But Michael Towson was our professional DM. He set up music. We used Roll20. We used D&D Beyond. So it was nice, all professionally set up. So even my little tiny brain could math with it. So it was because everything was like added on. So if you had like modifiers, it would automatically tack everything on
For you. Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah,
we played
for Roll20 when it works.
Right. Yes, when it works.
And they're like, I'm trying to roll things, and it's like, nope.
Nope. Well, no, Chrome has that extension now with D&D Beyond and Roll20 like combined.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now it'll just transfer over from Roll20 to, or is it the other way around? D&D Beyond to Roll20. So when you roll, it'll just pop up in the chat automatically instead.
Yeah.
So it'll like transfer everything, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, when it works, it works.
Right.
But we got to build our characters. So I played with Sarah Cook, and forgive me, I cannot say his last name. So Ray was the other guy, the other one that we played with, and it was a great time. We played for 3 hours. It was funny. Mike ended up, and now I'm gonna go on and on about this because this is a really cool like tier.
Yeah, it's an experience. You know
It
what I
is.
mean? It's not just because I like stuff, but I like the experience is better.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a chance to play D&D with someone who can really make it special.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. He pretty much, because one of the things is you do get those DMs that don't really give you a lot of like wiggle room with their story, and I've played with those types before. I wanted to try to, as a druid, I tried to make a giant bee one of my companions, and I couldn't because of story purposes. And I'm like, but giant bee. I want.
That would be great. His name is Buzz.
Yeah, but instead, Michael allowed me to literally walk into the water. Everybody else was like trying not to go into the big house. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna like observe our territory, and I'm like, all right, you all can stand in there for 45 minutes. I'm gonna walk up to that front door of that clearly haunted house. and I'm gonna kick open the door. And I did. I rubbed his. I almost got eaten by a crocodile. I rubbed
Nice.
its belly and put it to sleep. I didn't expect that to work, but it did.
Must have rolled some good dice on that one.
I did. Oh yeah, I crit on that one. I was very excited. He's like, "Yeah, you flipped it over and you pet its belly and it goes to sleep." I'm like, "Oh, all right. I guess I'm moving on now." I'm like half bleeding. Like I'm half dead as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, put
Go to
it to sleep.
sleep,
You mean
little
you?
croc.
Yeah, like
La, 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 la. Oh, he's asleep. Okay, let's go.
you mean you killed it? No, I mean I actually literally put it to sleep. Like when I say that, I mean literally.
Like, don't wake it up.
I climbed up a chimney to give fatherly advice to a 14-year-old ghost girl, which is not what Otis should be doing at all. No, it was a lot of fun. Like Mike is a great guy. He lets you do a lot of different things. If you need help, he will roll for you. He'll help you build your characters. He's just a really overall great guy. And there's only 6 spots, but I highly recommend jumping onto it. Also, if it says you get a PDF of Madcaps, that's not true in this. Like this little thing over here. I was just lazy and I stole. No. In the actual graphic.
Oh, it's so tiny. I can't read it anyway.
Okay. Well, I was like, I'm just lazy, so I just took his graphic. I was like, "Hey Ray, can I just have your graphic? I'm not home. Can I just?"
So play along in turn comics with includes. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
If you look hard enough, it's there. I was like, I didn't notice. Because I usually read what's on the, like in the white box where it says items included. That's usually what
most people do.
Yeah.
But we had a ton of fun with it, so I highly recommend looking at it. It's not just for comic creators, but if you did create, like you do have a comic book character you want to play, absolutely. That's kind of the fun of it. But if you don't, obviously you can back this tier and we would still love to have you to come and play. It's great.
Did I tell you that we tried that once? We tried running a campaign where everybody played their own characters, but all of our characters were too much of an asshole. And so when I had people to rescue, none of us wanted to rescue the people. Let them die. I was like, how am I supposed to get the team together if you guys won't cooperate? We're no one's a team player here, so
no. See, that's kind of enjoyable, but I don't know for how long,
Right. No one wanted to be friendly, so it didn't. Oh, someone's awake.
Someone wants to fight the bad guy.
Go get him.
Go on. Go get whoever.
With your name on it. Go get
him. Yeah, he's gonna just body slam some fucking people. But I definitely I love D&D. So, and if you're a beginner too, and you want to learn, he will teach you how to play during the campaign.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's the thing is you really need that good interaction from the beginning. What is going on? I'm clicking all sorts of things here. I'm trying to open this copy. Because when we first played, which campaign was it? With Max being our D&D, Max from Atrocity Press. He was amazing because we would make mistakes and he was lenient with us, so we were having fun. They weren't so, nitpicky about what you're carrying and what you're casting and how you do it. And, you know what I mean? Where it's it just isn't fun anymore. But that first experience being really fun and it was just such a good time. Oh, hey, Carrie.
Don't worry about it.
Welcome to a Pokemon show. We were talking about wearing all the hats. We're going to wear all the hats.
They are.
Where's your costume?
Speaking of, as you continue talking.
Yeah. So my point was having that good experience with, oh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to wear
change the hat out. Got to change the hat out.
Changing the hat out.
Good, because I'm hot as balls in here.
What the hell you mean, Pops? That's not me. Gee.
I knew I needed to take these things off at some point. Because it's hot.
Am I Pops now? No. Oh, man.
Should I say hi or Pika Pika? You should say Pika Pika. And then smash something with a sledgehammer because that's how we roll. I totally lost my train of thought here. I was going to I'm dropping this thing. That's what I was going to do. This, my friends, check it out, is the first 8-page preview of
Yes.
such a hook. So if you are on the fence and you're not sure, go read this and you can kind of get a feel of what happens in the story. And then you can come back here and back this project and then
Yes.
get all the goodies that come along with. This is super exciting for this D&D.
Mhm.
And it's not that expensive. Like I was thinking it was going to be like $120, but no, it's like it's $30. $30
Yep.
will get you a D&D experience.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
And that's per person. So
Yes.
yeah, like that's the thing. And because I was just like that with you too, where I was like, oh, that's gonna be really expensive, and then they're like, no, it's $30. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. Cool.
Yeah.
They did, and it's worth it. Like Mike is a great guy, and he does this for a living. So the fact that he's cheap
Nice.
is great. He also has a Discord server too, which I don't. Well,
What?
I'll find it out of my thousands of Discord servers that I'm a part of. Because welcome to the comics community where everybody has a Discord. So.
I do not. There's, it's like it's hard to keep up with all the socials.
Mhm.
And I'm quite a bit older than you, so I claim being old sometimes, but I'm like, what the heck is this Discord thing? And I was on there, and then I'm just like, there's just too much. There's too much. It's like you can be on all the things, and it just drives you crazy. What is this Murdered by a Fish?
Oh, that's the commercial that Aaron did for the announcement trailer with Catalyst. If you want to play it, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I've seen this. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
From the zany mind behind Blue Lullaby and the legend of Sparkle Dog comes a fishy tale you won't believe. Catalyst Comics Studio, in association with Rolling Squid Bones, proudly presents The Little Set the Hook. Meet Otis, an average Joe with a not-so-average problem. His dad was murdered by a fish. That's right, a fish. But don't worry, he's got backup. Enter Ginger, his fiery friend with a hot lead and cooler attitude. Together, they're on a fishy mission to catch the culprit and reel in some underwater justice. So grab your fishing rods and dive into the fun with The Little Set the Hook. Coming soon from Catalyst Comics Studio, because sometimes the fish fights back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's amazing. And look what comes up.
The lemonade. Doc walks
up to the lemonade stand.
Hey, got any grapes?
Oh my God, my
No.
kids sing that one. Yeah, Carrie. Oh my gosh, just keep swimming. And you said he's a pike? I've heard you say that the murder fish is a pike.
Yeah, so the fish that murdered his dad is a pike. The fish in this one is a walleye.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the main fish is that he's hunting a pike, and the reason why it's a pike is because I love fishing, and the pike is my favorite to catch.
Why? They're terrible.
Why? Oh, they're so much fun.
Oh, it's scared. Okay, I have a fishing story.
Okay.
We're in, I want to say Maryland.
Mhm.
I was in high school, and my sister was already in college. So my brother and I were out on this deck that went 25 feet into the water. We were fishing at night. And there was us and maybe like 4 retirees, right? And they had lamps, so they had some light, but it was mostly dark. And I had a crappie rig. So for those of you unfamiliar with a crappie rig, it's one line, and then it has like offshoots with 2 hooks, right? And so that's on a couple places on the line. And so where the offshoot is, there's these little beads. So it was reflecting in the water. But people were starting to catch things, and as they're reeling them in, we saw this thing go to the surface, and it would eat whatever you had on your hook.
Oh.
And you'd reel in, and you'd be empty, right? And then, so my crappie rig, this pike bit onto it because it's the reflective beads, and they roll like alligators.
Yep.
They're freaking prehistoric fish,
Well, they're
right?
predators, yeah. They're
Yeah.
they're ambush fish too, so yeah.
So it went "Grr," and then it rolled itself in my line. So when I reeled it in, I got it over the deck, and this thing was so big, it broke the line because it was so heavy, and it fell onto the deck. And I don't want to touch this thing. It was, and I'm not kidding you, it's probably a good 4 feet. But all these old guys were like, oh, and they like took it off the thing, and then they just shoved it into my hand, and I'm holding it like I don't
I don't know what to do with this.
I don't know what to do. What do I do with this? And my brother ran to the campsite and got a camera so we could take a picture, because then I was like,
Do you have the picture?
I don't have it anywhere close by. I have to go look for it. But yeah, it's just basically me going like holding this giant pike. It scared the crap out of me. I didn't want to touch it. And then it was gone. Like people were catching fish for the rest of the night because this thing took its football and went home. But yeah, so I was like, it's a pike. Of course it's a pike. Pike are assholes.
Hell yeah, they are. Yeah, that's actually why I like catching them, is because they put up a huge fight.
Yeah.
Which is, I love catching carp too, because they also put up a fight.
Big fight. Yeah.
So, but I actually, the first time I caught a pike was up in Silver Lake, and they it makes it a sexist serial killer, even though the fish is a male, but whatever. Well, I mean, it kills a woman in the beginning too. So like the I guess the walleye kills a woman in the beginning, and the
Yeah.
pike killed his dad. So maybe they're both sexist.
Disgruntled fish.
Yeah.
I
Also the
don't
fish
think they have a preference. They just kill people.
they do, yes. They want they do.
So you were at Silver Lake?
Yeah, I was up in Silver Lake. I went to over by Glen Arbor, over around near the Sleeping Bear Dunes area, and I found this lake called School Lake, which was like just this offshoot of like a little bit farther down from the river that's there, where you can kayak. And I threw I didn't even know what I was fishing for. Like we took our equipment, we threw them in, and I pulled out maybe about whatever the hell this fish was. It was maybe about yay big.
That's giant.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what the hell is this?
What was it?
So I Googled it, and it was a pike.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is I got bit by it, because when I was trying to remove it, yeah, I got bit.
They got giant teeth, man.
They do. And it like, I mean, when we say giant, they're like this big, so they're not.
Yeah, but
gonna,
I know what their snout is like. This long. That's what I mean. It's like a torpedo.
Yeah.
Piranha fish.
Have you?
I compare it.
I'm not sure, because I know
ferret fish.
gar are pretty scary too. Have you ever seen a gar before?
Yeah.
We have little gar around here, which I've never caught one. They taste like chicken.
Shit out of you. A torpedo with teeth. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yes. And they're fast.
They're not friendly.
No, they're not. They won't attack people if you're in the water, but they are not friendly.
No. If you pick one up, they're going for blood.
Yeah. But it ended up biting me, and in order for my revenge, I took it back to the cabin that we were staying at, and we cooked it and ate it.
Yeah.
So we ended up frying it, and we actually
they're supposed to be delicious. I guess
they're so good. My god! Oh yeah, so worth it. So that was then recent, like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, motherfucker! You're gonna bite me. I'm gonna bite you back.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking eat you. I'm going the distance with you. I'm killing you and eating you. I caught about 2 years ago, and I could send you the picture. I caught a 30-inch pike.
Oh my gosh!
On a spinner hook, which was only for it was like this big of a hook, and it was a total accident. My aunt and I were out on the boat. What?
Did he wrap himself in the line?
No, it actually hooked him right in the snout.
Oh shoot!
Like I don't know what happened, because I was casting out. We were kind of near the shallows on the boat, and I was just casting out, reeling in. I was mostly going for like bass or bluegill, because my hook wasn't very big. And all of a sudden, I feel this thing tug on the line, and I'm like, I think this is either a log or something. And as I was reeling, I kept feeling a pull, and I'm like,
no, it's alive.
And Dana, get the net. And she's like, there's nothing on your line. There can't be. That hook's too small. I'm like, no, get the net. And this giant mouth came out of the water. and I pulled it up and I took it home and I ate it. But it was like a 30-inch pike. And I was like, holy shit. Never been able to catch one like that again. And she's like, I guarantee you've caught like the biggest fish in this lake. I'm like, I guarantee you I did too. Because nobody fishes in that lake. It's like Angeles. So it's a private lake where everybody uses their speedboats and boats to like relax and do bougie rich people stuff.
Yeah.
But the fishing there is great.
Yeah, as long as they're not speedboating around. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why you go late at night or like early in the morning. And I've never left that place, my aunt's lake house, without catching like 4 or 5 bass.
Nice.
So yeah. And crappie, but I usually don't take back the crappie because they're kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just not big enough to take.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I know, it's like no round of fish legend stories.
They do get big. Yes, we're gonna.
And then they get big enough where they kill your parents.
Yes, Laurie's gonna come out and be like, Chad, listen, I caught a bigger fish than that. So,
you know, I'm the worst fisherman. I'm the worst. That one pike, that was like my one claim to fame, man. And I get seasick. Like, I'm terrible in a boat, right? We went deep sea fishing on another trip, and I spent the entire trip puking my guts into the ocean and then lying on the bottom of the boat trying not to, you know, blow my brains out. I wanted to die. It was great.
So you were feeding the fish. It was great.
Yeah, I was chumming the water for everybody with my mozzarella cheese sticks that I had for lunch.
Oh, good. I'm so proud of you for doing your part. We were actually on a cruise back in March, and we were in Roatan, and I have never seen. They are good to eat. They are very good to eat. I love bluegill too because you can fry them up and they become little potato chips. And you can dip them in ketchup or whatever and eat them. They're tasty. But I was so jealous of how big these they were like salmon or carp, but they were right by the dock when we were in Roatan. They were like maybe 5 feet long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And when this guy like threw a small fish into the water and they all like just attacked that. And I was like, God, I would have been pulled right into the water, but that'd be so much fun. Like just catching those things. I would die immediately.
Well, we can satisfy your need for beating up big fish when you back set the hook.
Yes. The first issue is just nonstop action. The first 8 pages, which it has the preview, that actually it leads up to it. So you do get the nice like build up to it where he's dropping the bait in the water to bring out the big fish.
The big fish scene is awesome.
Yeah.
I have seen it. I'm just gonna say I got a preview because I'm special.
Yeah.
It's really good. You guys definitely want to read this, and you can get your little taste here. You can get your bluegill chip taste here.
Yeah.
On this link, you can read the first 8 pages, and then go from there.
And if you back it, man, yeah, I will get you that catfish platter. In fact, I'll go in with you on a catfish platter. Like, I got you, man. I got you. But no, this book, just to be on a serious note, this book is exactly like, because I love fishing, I love aquatics, so this is all me like poured into this book, because I wanted to turn my hobby into a story.
That's cool. And I mean, you have to make it exciting. And
you do.
It's just such a like fishing. Oh, look!
Holy crap.
What is my boy Terry Bond who pulled that freaking monster out of the river?
Is that a catfish?
That's the St. Joe's River, yeah.
Where St. Joe's? I was gonna say, where's he at? The St. Joe's
by the dam south of Three Rivers.
God damn, I gotta go out there.
He's got trout, pike, all of it. Yeah, this river's beastly.
Well, he just
Chad.
Yeah, I gotta go now.
You can write off this research for your book.
Pops, I'll let you know when you're out there and we'll go fishing.
Cool.
Like, goddamn. I've only caught 1 catfish and it was an accident.
I was trying to eat your other fish.
I can catch catfish all night long right here at the lake by the house.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
I mean, I don't know. We've never seen anybody pull a real big one out of the lake.
Yeah, but you've seen the littler
you
ones.
see them right there off the dock on the bottom of the water. You know, you can see them swimming around, little 7-8 inch ones. You know, the big ones are out there.
Yep.
You
So it's
know,
fun too, because when you get catfish, like the carp, when they're big, they will go right up to the shore. And they're great. They tease you because right when you see it swimming by, you're like, I hate you. I hate you so
the
much.
funniest thing about catfish is they will slowly suck the bait, the hook,
Yep.
the whole thing in their mouth, and they don't do the big hit on it.
No, they
So
don't.
you got to know that you're down in there. You know, I mean, it's different type of fishing, but like these guys up here, my friends up here, they're just like Chris and the guys at Big Sexy Outdoors. They're always hunting, fishing, doing the thing, man. It's Michigan. You know?
It is. You got to do one of those.
It's Michigan. What can I tell you? Everybody does something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Michigan that's one thing, man. Michigan is gorgeous. That's one thing that I miss here in Texas is just like the lush forests and all the water and the lakes and just kind of like a more wild feeling. Every time I go back to Michigan, someone always tells me, welcome back to God's country. And I'm like, I don't know why people say that, but I kind of get it because it's like it's wild and it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's free.
Down here in the 269, baby. You know?
Oh.
All right, I'm out.
Okay.
Now I'm jealous of that. Now I got to go up there now.
Yeah.
That's Craven.
Well, Pops
Hell
is
yeah.
out towards Kalamazoo. I think that's where
Yeah.
Yours is. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
in Michigan, so
No,
there's
he's
lots
about
of good stuff out there.
2 hours from me.
Yeah.
An hour. I
Yeah.
don't remember how far that is, but not very far.
Not too far.
We, as the Michiganders, we will say, oh, it's only a 3-hour drive. Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
Right.
Like, especially if you're going somewhere fun.
Right. And I used to
but-
live close to South Lion, so I know exactly. Yeah. There's
Oh, you
lots of ways
did?
to go. Yeah. I was in Northville. So
No
it was like
kidding.
border. It was like if you went a block west, that was South Lion. So I was right there. Before all the construction and all of that.
Mhm. Oh, by Plymouth Road?
Yeah, we were closer to. We were at like Drake and no, was it
8 Mile?
13 Mile?
Oh,
it was
13 Mile. 8 Mile? Okay.
It
Yeah,
was like
I know.
8 Mile and I don't remember the crossroads. Sorry.
I'm literally 9 Mile, and 8 Mile is like right there. Like literally, I turn the corner. It's like 8 Mile and Pontiac Trail, or 9 Mile and Pontiac Trail.
Yeah.
So I'm right
Yeah,
there.
we were right there.
So,
So
wow, you were
we
right
could've
around the
been
corner
neighbors.
from me. Yeah, we could have been. Been like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, Laurie, let's go. Let's
Let's
get
go
out of here.
fishing, and I would be like, I don't want to.
Like, too bad. Listen, I'm gonna help you catch a catfish by accident.
No, I don't
Uh,
want to. No.
No, it was fun because I was originally set up for carp.
Yeah.
And as at in my aunt's lake house, these carp are so hard to catch. And you
Why?
can see them. I don't know. Like they're either smart or stupid or I don't know. Or it's me. But you can throw out to them, and I've seen like 4 in a school, like a little school, just floating toward like on the shore, and I'm like, I hate you so much. Every time. But I set up for carp and I threw my line out. I left it there for about 3 hours, and then when it was time to leave, I started reeling in, and I'm like, is there something tugging on the line? And I rolled it up, and it was like a little catfish about this big, and it just gave up. Like it didn't fight like
Okay,
at all. It's like,
what are we doing?
yeah, and like, okay, are you gonna let me go? And I ended up letting it go because I was not prepared to skin a catfish because they don't
Yeah.
have scales; they have skin.
They have skin. Yes,
Yeah.
it's different. It's
Yes.
kind of gross.
Yeah.
Have
You
you
ca-
tried to catch a carp on purpose?
Yeah,
That's who he
absolutely.
was trying to catch, and then they were
Yeah,
jerks, and they wouldn't.
yeah,
They
you
wouldn't
can.
play. They
So,
must have been well fed.
well, here's the thing. So carp get a bad rep. They are considered in other countries game fish because they do put up a big fight. But if you put in the time and effort to make carp, like you fillet them, you get these nice thick steaks,
Ooh.
and you just soak them in buttermilk and white wine, and you can throw them in a pan and make them great. If you get the fat ones, like I'm not talking like the small ones, but the big ones, when you go for those will give you some nice steaks. And yes, there's a lot of bone in them, but they are very tasty. You have to be careful, but when you eat them and you soak them in wine and like buttermilk for 48 hours, throw them in a pan, throw them in the oven, you get some nice steaks. I know I'm disgusting, Crimea River, but you all eat catfish.
I'm just saying that if you soak anything in wine and buttermilk for 48 hours, it'll taste fantastic.
Right. I mean, yes. But you get some nice eating going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could soak it in whiskey.
Put
And it'll probably
anything in. Any kind of meat, any kind of protein, you put it in wine and buttermilk.
You're great. People be like, well, of course it's gonna taste good, you idiot. You're drunk.
It's buttermilk.
Buttermilk. It's fat.
Right?
It's gonna taste good no matter what.
It is.
No, but
I just wanted to say, people, please show some love to Set the Hook. We want to make sure that this thing gets funded. Of course,
just back it already.
That's your call to action.
Yeah.
Go pick up a tier, read this story. Let's get this thing off the ground. I want my copy. I want my copy of this. So make sure you guys come too. We'll all join in together to make sure this thing takes off. And I'm sure, Chad, you are feeling like this.
Hold on. I think I'm bleeding. Am I bleeding? Ah! 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 Nose and lips! Okay, ow. Ah! Can I... Ow! Ow! Wait! Ow! Please, Mr. Oh!
You know what's funny? Yes, because I think we all feel like that.
We all do.
We all do. Like
this is just so accurate of what it's like to run a campaign. It's just like, here you go. And hit.
Yep. Because I actually have another show tomorrow. It is international too, so I am shipping in both this time.
Hello.
So
perfect.
It is both. And if it's and I know it's the shipping for international is obviously going to be a little bit more expensive. But unfortunately it is what it is, I can't change that. So
right. No, but Carrie loves a good book. She got our trade paperback, and she does these great things where she'll a lot of times she'll unbox it and she'll post it. So,
that'd be awesome.
Great. Hugo, I'm with you. Just skip the protein and buttermilk and give me the wine.
That's true. That is very true. I do.
Be like, Lori, stop drinking. Be like, what?
What? Come on, everybody.
I'm just marinating the stomach in preparation.
Oh, fun thing about the D&D campaign now that you bring that up.
Oh,
because Onus drinks so much alcohol when the crocodile or when one of the mosquito bat things bit me, it gained poison because
really?
My blood was infected.
I was drunk.
Yeah, it gained alcohol poisoning because my blood was just nothing but alcohol. And that's what was really fun about it, because I didn't even have that ability written down. Like Mike just went with it. He's like, and now it gets +3 poison damage.
See, that's a good DM. That's amazing.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, Carrie says every physical comic I do a Clumsy Brit unboxing. It's amazing too. I love it. It was great.
Yeah. I love British.
And by the way, hi Christian. I see you. Nice to see you, of course.
I have one other buddy in Britain. He's a furry, and he will always tell me just either how awful it is or how wonderful it is. So there's no in between. So I'm like, oh, okay, Billy. I love you though. So, he's a good guy though. I love him. Actually, I should probably message him soon. It's been a couple of days.
One of the things I put in there that we've kind of been having fun with is the hats, but it is one of the things I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Because you have 3 different titles and they're all so different. And how do you switch between them and decide which one that you're working on next and campaigning next? And that's interesting to me, because right now I'm still just focused on one thing. I haven't really branched out. I've done other people's stories, but to promote 3 different stories, what's your experience with that?
It is the most stressful thing I've ever done. Don't do it. But I mean, it's for me, it's a learning curve thing. Because when I started out with Blue Lullaby, I wanted to write a comic. Like that's what I wanted to do. So I wrote the story about Monsters Inc. meets Men in Black, where it's about a girl who teams up with a monster under her bed to solve a series of child kidnappings. And that was like the one that I sent to Marcosi Enterprises and Action Lab to get like published commercially. And then I realized that, well, doing it commercial is not all like fame and glory.
Right.
It was great. But so then I ended up doing Sparkle Dog, which was gonna be kind of the main book I was gonna do, where it was an experimental thing where I could put whatever genre I wanted into this book, but make it like an ongoing story. Yeah. But so far, trying to promote 3 different books, it's like juggling, because now I just got the green light to do a Kickstarter for Blue, even though that's been out for a couple, like 2 years now. Sparkle Dog issue 2 is going to be coming up soon, and then now I have Set the Hook, and then Set the Hook issue 2. So wearing these multiple different hats is pretty stressful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, I like being able to branch out into different genres and different stories. So for me, it's very easy for me to, once I get a story done, I'm like, okay, I don't want to continue this. What's my next one? Because I'll get bored with that story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, though, Set the Hook, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, this is probably one of the best things I've ever written, hands down, because it's all of me, and it's going to get a series of spin-offs, and it's going to be more world building.
Cool. Those are
So
the best.
yeah, but really, I want to write a trashy romance. That's my next project that I want to write.
Really?
Yes, because I just feel like sticking into one lane and genre gets boring sometimes. So I want to be able to experiment, and I'm not knocking it for anybody who does it. That's fine, you know. But for me, it's like I want to be able to create different stories, different genres, which is why I did Sparkle Dog, because there's a space event. There's like a Dead Space parody, a noir speakeasy parody, a point and click adventure game parody, and a Dungeons and Dragons parody, all rolled into one comic. But right now that's on hold. So now I'm focused on Set the Hook, because Blake decided to have children.
Which is, it's a thing. It happens.
I know.
I mean, I get it. Like, my new artist got married right before we did our Kickstarter, so I was like, I don't know if we'll have a cover from Gilbert, but he came back and he did it. So it just depends on, what's going. Everybody's personal life affects your project, and it's crazy, but that's how it goes, man.
Oh, absolutely. I just love giving him shit about it, because every time we're talking about
way to go, man.
Yeah, he's like, well, Luna is just not doing too well, or I'm working with Luna. I'm like, well, just don't have kids. And he's like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, you can put it back.
No,
nothing's stopping you.
Jen, that's not how that works.
No, I know. I mean, the adoption agencies are full.
Stop it.
I know. I'm terrible with him, but no, he is working on it. I've been pretty patient. We've been patient.
Yeah.
But Set the Hook has been kind of the book that I'm going to start focusing on, like, full time, essentially. So once this first issue comes up, I'm already in talks with getting the second issue done. And then I have the spinoff with Jason Doobie that I'm working on too, which is actually about little shit. So he does get a little spinoff. It doesn't tell his origin story. It just shows you what he does, because we don't want to know as the owner or anything like that, or how he's able to do this. He just does.
Right.
He's the bark in the water. So yeah, he's cute. Well, somebody had a question. Carrie had a question. I never bought. I've never bought.
Oh, I've never bought a Kickstarter before. So if you are positive about the site, if you've ever bought Kickstarter, if so, what's it like from a buyer's perspective?
Oh, I've backed 142 campaigns, which I'm very proud of.
I've backed 99. Yeah.
You're at 99?
I'm at 99.
Oh, get on my level. But I wasn't 100. Dang it. But
you're so close.
I know. I'll wear that little badge. But my experience has been pretty positive. I haven't had a creator not send me their book. And so all my experience has been positive.
I've had 2, but 2 out of 99 is
pretty good.
Really good odds.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, and you do end up falling into that too, where you never get the book. Like, I'm still waiting on the Chew role-playing game book that I ordered like 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, it depends on what you're backing. Because my husband will back tabletop games, like big ones, right?
Yeah.
And they take 2 years.
2
years, because they're manufactured overseas, and then they have to piece everything together and then ship it out. So if it's a comic book, 6 months to
Sure.
maybe a year at the longest. But just depending on what you're backing, it can take a little longer, just so you're aware. But usually the creator is
Pretty
upfront
upfront.
about
Yeah.
it. And you're looking for people that maybe have a good track record. Like Chad has already fulfilled other things. I have fulfilled other things. So you can see the history behind, that creator. That's usually what I'm looking for if I'm backing something that I haven't, followed that creator before.
Mhm.
But usually they'll say like, this should be ready by like October. And so
Right.
you'll have an idea. And the other thing I look for is how often are they updating the campaign? Because if they're updating during production, you should have a clue about where they are in their process. So sometimes I always feel bad because I'm over communicating, but at least everybody knows. So
Right.
I've had printer problems before, but everybody knew the book was done. Everybody had the PDF. We were just waiting on the printer to print the dang books, and then I would be fulfilling. So those are the kind of things you want to look for, Carrie, when you're backing on Kickstarter. I can vouch for Chad's
Thank you.
things before.
And Laurie came in through very fast, and Carissa's like lightning as well. Tom's great, so I'll vouch for you guys.
Yeah.
I decided when I did the Sparkle Dog campaign, I sent all of my stuff out at once.
Mm-hmm.
And the post office hated me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, luckily, I put them all nice, organized in a box, and I had my pirate ship little scanner thing. So she's like, "Oh God, we have to scan all these." I'm like, "No, you don't."
You're like, look,
And
I
she's
did
like,
it for you.
Right. She's like, "Oh my God, you did it for us." And I'm like, "Yeah, pirate ship. If anybody ever comes in like this, talk to them about pirate ship. They print this stupid free little scan label. I mean, you've used it before,
Yeah.
but anybody who doesn't, you can print one little label, and when they scan it, it'll register all of the packages you have, and
That's
it
cool.
makes their
Yeah.
lives a million times easier." So
I usually take mine in like a few batches. It usually
yeah,
takes me 3 or 4 batches to get everything
yeah, I
out.
learned. I learned I could do that.
But my post office is great. Like they're like, hey, you seem to be doing a lot of this. I'm like, yep. And they're like, you can go around back. We have this.
Yes.
They have
Yeah.
this like drop off. They don't tell everybody about it. They're like, you can take most, like when you have big deliveries like this, take them to the back. And
Yep.
I just drop them all in there. Done. They're like, we're
Yeah.
going to open for you on Saturday. Hurrah.
Yep. They actually did that to me too. They're like, "Hey, if you're gonna do this again, just let you know.
Yeah.
You could take it around back." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Here you
I
go."
know. I'm like,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Hello. But yeah, but Set the Hook, I'm excited to get this off the ground.
Yeah, I am too. People need to show this one some love because I need my book, man.
It's hard. I'm not knocking anybody. Like I'm actually, truthfully be told, the way it's doing, like I'll be totally clear, I'm not too happy about like where it's at right now, especially when we're like 9-10 days
Yeah, 9
from
days
ending.
left.
But at the same time though, behind the scenes I get it, because there's a lot of us who have talked about how the market is and just how a lot of there's just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Most of it's OnlyFans, but I digress. So
we had to bring up feet at least once in this.
Just feet. That's right. Which is fun. And I know, Laurie, we've talked about this before too. I know I talk about on Chris's show feet, but I absolutely hate feet.
Like, I know a joke, everybody.
I know it is a total joke.
I always tease Chad, and he's like, "Just so you're clear, that is a joke, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm totally joking."
Yeah. I know. I get it. It's a joke. Yes.
But like, I wouldn't be bringing it up if I thought it was real. I would be like,
Right. Yeah. No. It's true. I think feet are the most disgusting thing. It's just an easy fetish to talk about because then I won't get like banned or weirded.
And that's something.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah. There's a lot more. There are worse things than feet, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Go listen. In Set the Hook issue 2, you get to see a stripper vampire squid and a stripper jellyfish. Yeah. Tim Spavero is very excited to draw these.
I have questions, but
Slippery Bell.
Next time.
There's Slippery Bell, which is the jellyfish.
No.
And they go to a strip club called the Slippery Tentacle. And then there's Vampire, which is my favorite type of squid, is the vampire squid. And yeah, they are almost humanoid. However, though, I told Tom that the jellyfish needs to look more. I mean, you probably saw my Facebook post about it where I said it needs to. He's like, do you want it to look more jellyfish or more human? I'm like, more jellyfish, but also make it to the point where it's a very confused boner. So do it like that, where you're like,
oh, is this hot?
Is this hot?
I don't know what to say.
Like looking down and you're like, oh shit, is this hot? Am I more curious, or do I think this is hot, or am I repulsed that it's like a stress boner? Like, is that what it is?
I cannot relate. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Like you never had a stress boner before.
Nope.
Oh, weird. I wonder why.
I was like, that's a thing. Sorry, guys.
I mean, for me, I don't know what you're talking about. But we're not getting into my erectile dysfunctions. But
oh my gosh.
No, but set the hook.
Great time to wrap up the show.
Oh, we still got 10 minutes. No, issue 3 is going to be my schlock up issue, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all it is this Ginger just going ham with the hammer. Yeah.
I very much want to see that. I am looking forward to Ginger and that hammer. I've already, said quite a few times, like, that hammer though,
Yeah.
and it's like in the first issue, we don't get quite enough. So I'm like,
No.
that needs to, I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure.
Oh, it's coming and it'll be fun. She is Otis's complete opposite. Because I didn't really get a chance to talk about her, but I will real quick. Her full name is Ginger Alex Lottle, because she's albino, so axolotl. Get it. She was actually a character from another story I was writing. But I decided to incorporate her into this one as a spastic, hyperactive counterpart to Otis, where she is smart, but she's super charges into battle without a plan. So she will assess the situation, but her mind moves so fast that she's reckless with it, because she'll be pointing out things and talking to Otis in like a strategic way, and he's just like, you give me so much stress right now, like I can't deal with you. And he taught her everything that he knows. So he's like a mentor to her. And now she's able to fly on her own, and she's also getting a spinoff as well.
Cool.
I have her set in, I think she's in Japan. I think and she's hunting a kappa, if I remember.
Oh,
geez. I have to look at what story. I'm giving her like the weirder stuff, like the weirder stuff.
I can see that.
Also, there are fish puns. So in the bar scene with Otis, my favorite joke is the Moby joke. Where, I won't spoil it, but it is.
You'll have to read, my friends.
You'll have to read it.
You'll have to get the issue and read it.
It's the dumbest joke I've came. Actually, it's the second dumbest joke in that book. I'll tell you. So anyway,
I like this video, and so can you. Yes. Oh, if you're still watching, make sure that you give us a like, a heart. Subscribe to Laurie Calcaterra 360 on YouTube, because I always forget to tell people to subscribe and like, because I forget that that's a thing. Thank you guys. Chad, this was a blast.
Thank you. I had fun.
I'm glad you did, and I'm so glad that we had a chance just to be the two of us and talk through your origin story. I feel like I know you so much better. It's great.
Likewise.
Everybody, please go support Set the Hook. We've got 9 days left. I feel like there's a ton of sleepers out there.
Nice.
And all the campaigns, people are waiting until like the last minute. So don't wait too long. The holiday is coming, and it will F you. If you miss out, you will be sad. So don't miss out. Don't miss out.
Now, granted, with the holiday coming, you can also save them for Christmas presents. Just saying, if you want to get your Christmas presents.
There's Christmas and birthdays, and you can get that extra copy to give away to your fishing friend. Because in Michigan, everybody fishes.
Everybody fishes. They do. Fish for characters, fish for fish that are tax evaders. So
what?
Tax evasion, 500 out of
like
600 fish are
they're all criminals.
They're all criminals, because most of them are for tax evasion.
Teach them a lesson.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Chad, where can people follow you on socials? All of that good stuff.
You can follow me on Facebook, which is just Chad Perkins. You can find me on that. You can also find me on Twitter with Casual Nerd Chad, where I'm pretty terrible at updating, but you can see what I'm doing. You can also check out my updates. I've been getting better at Instagram, and I will be building a Substack soon. so I can send out emails to people and harass them that way.
Nice.
So it'll be great. So that's where you can find me. I'm pretty good at setting up. You can also catch me on Mondays with Laurie, Corissa, and Tom. I'm back as a full, gonna go through it as a regular again after hell. And then I do RSVP on the Indie Comics Network with C. Michael Lanning, where we bullshit and hang out. So, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please come check out again next week. That didn't make any sense. That sentence was way out of order. Check us out next week with more indie creators.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people signed up to be on the Brew. It's so exciting. So just be excellent to each other and make sure you kiss your babies. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Life makes you unashamed, and comics are your escape. Put a little madness in your life. Come give your mind a cleanse. Tune in with pops and friends. Just turn on your Roku box and then put a little madness in your life. Put a little madness in your life. Yeah, put a little madness in your life.
Chicken nuggets.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month,